welcome to the questionable just one chapter experiment. And I'm going to read you guys today from a book that I normally don't read. So it's going to be from, ta-da, this really fun and short little novella called Recruited. It is the Elijah Chronicles. By the way, when I wrote this book, I had this really fun joke that I thought was going to be amazing. So I was going to use for anybody who's been paying attention to the Old Testament, I was using the prophets' names, Elijah and Elijah, because I always I'm like, why are their names so alike and then, follow each other? Whatever. Great master plan on paper. Until you have to read this book out loud. And I thought I should have picked different names, but hey, we have committed and here we are. So now we're stuck with these names. And they're tongue twisters. So hey, I apologize already. But we're going to go ahead. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on this book since I rarely talked about it. It's book one in this trilogy. And I say trilogy, I think it's a trilogy. It could be a duology. Haven't figured it out. So it is literally book one in the Chronicles. And one of the reasons it came about, this actually book took place during COVID. And it was a sign I can tell you, like, legit. For me, most of my inspiration comes to like one scene, one chapter, something happens. And literally I remember sitting on a Sunday and this idea popped into my head of zombies. Because I obviously write these things. And the question is like, what if zombies, the apocalypse happened and zombies could do landscaping? Because all of my neighbors were got along. I'm allergic to it. And all I could hear was lawnmowers going left and right. And I'm like, if the apocalypse happened, would we still be having to cut this lawn? Yes, I have morbid questions in my head. For whatever reason, that just spun around my head all day. Later that day, I got a call from one of my dear friends, and she's like, hey, I'm putting this anthology together, post apocalyptic. Would you be interested in participating? And I was like, oh God, I have this perfect idea. So here we are. I actually outlined a lot of this stuff and then kind of got stuck when it came to deciding, the short story was really fun, was great to write. Then I had this brilliant idea. I'm going to put some question marks in that of putting this story in my Reaper's universe because I had decided if I was going to do magic and I was going to do urban fantasy, it was all going to take place in my Reaper's universe because I really didn't want to develop another magic system. That's it. It was one, we're going to commit, which created a few tiny itty bitty problems, which is the reason book two and probably three have not been written because somehow by placing this book in this universe, it is in the future. Then I had to figure out what happened to my Reapers, where all these people were at, where was Pestilence, and where was Death, and where was everybody else, and why was Constantine not involved? So here we are. So if you're wondering, if you read this book, what happened to the rest of us? It's been 4 years and I'm still trying to figure out how I can fix that or how to explain it or what happens. I think I have an idea, but here we are. So the things that go behind the scene in the writer's mind. You put yourself in this hole or box and then going, "Phew, didn't think that through really well." So inspiration will come and it hopefully comes in the form of Elijah and kind of helps us out. But today we're going to go through chapter one, see if it sparks. Remember, this is an experiment to see if one chapter will get you excited to read the book. And then when you read the book, give me some ideas when you think if we should continue. So we're going to read Recruited chapter one. Fun little, short little novella because I love it. And dedication for this book, actually. This one's for my brothers. Thank you for always believing in me and being willing to travel across the country for me. So my brothers are both amazing and truly like some of the most committed individuals in my life. So love you both. So let's start. Chapter one. Sweat rolled down the sangria glass next to Elijah. Her perfect mocha complexion soaked up the sun in her bright yellow bikini. It was the perfect day to lounge around and do nothing. Then again, that described every day for Elijah. She often spent her time sitting around her backyard, reading old fantasy novels or just watching the grass grow. So you can tell this would never be my life because I would never be watching the grass grow. I'm allergic to it. So hey, here we are. Elijah, your pet just decapitated himself. Again. Elisha yelled at her familiar. Shit, not another one. replied the cat. Elisha did not reply out loud, but telepathically to Elisha. Fortunately for the world, she was the only one who could understand him. After 75 years of being bonded, words were often unnecessary. "This is the fifth one this week," she commented as Elisha rushed past her. "Thank you, Captain Obvious," Elisha hissed. "It's not like you have a short supply of those zombies or anything." Elisha pointed to both sides of their house. Zombies roamed the empty lot surrounding the forest field around their house, while her property had manicure and lush green lawns. The neighbors sported a semi-jungle right over by Mother Nature. Elisha took a deep breath and stared. She remembered when they had living neighbors, when her house in Texarkana blended with the rest of the town. There was a time when Texarkana was the haven for the supernatural community and the headquarters for Death and her crew. Those years were long gone. There was nothing left of the peaceful residential area full of life and joy. "Earth to Elisha, come in, Elisha," Elisha demanded. "I'm here," Elisha replied, sipping her sangria. "Right." Elisha marched over to his pet and examined the damage. Maybe giving a bunch of zombies power tools was not the best plan for their survival, she told him as she watched the blonde zombies accidentally chop off the hand of his companion. Ouch. If she was alive, they'll hurt. Fortunately for us, they're all dead. Elijah rolled his eyes. "Unless you want to trim the hedges and take care of the grass. No comments from the peanut gallery." "Negative, my furry friend. That's your department." Elijah raised her glass to the angry feline as he marched around the corpses. "I do not do manual labor in that field." "All of you, stop that," Elijah ordered the zombies, who froze in their tracks. "Elijah, the kitty necromancer. Oh, the older thick," Elijah giggled. "By the way, huge kind of comment in here. When I wrote this, I didn't really realize that I was making the cat the necromancer at all. So my brother and sister-in-law were visiting as I read like the beginning of this because I thought it was completely hysterical. They both looked at me and say, "He's a necromancer." And I'm like, "What?" Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, about that. Hmm. So what happened? So the cat's a necromancer. It could be worse. Maybe. I don't know how it could get worse, but here we are. Welcome to my world. So we're going to continue. Just kind of go along with me. We'll be okay. Considering most of them are dead or scattered around the world, I don't give a flying flip about them, Elijah replied, not bothering to look her way. Ring, ring. Elisha and Elijah both froze. Nobody ever rang their doorbell. There were not enough living people in the town to dare walk around. The good news was, if they made it through the force field, it meant they had come in peace. But who was crazy enough to approach their front door? Ring. "Guess they're not going away," Elisha stood from her lawn chair. "I'll be right there," Elisha told her. "Take your time. I got this." Elisha winked at the cat, taking the machete that was laying on the ground next to her. The air conditioner hit Elisha as soon as she entered the house. She tossed her black hair over her shoulder and cracked her neck. It was a miracle the generator was still running after so many years. Maybe humans were better at building things that were maybe humans were better at building things than they were at medicine. But Elisha doubted. She took one deep breath, sensing the humans on the other side of the front door. What role to play? Nice or bitchy? Elisha asked herself as she examined the living room. Been a long time since the last visitors. Nice it'll be. She opened the door and stared at the three humans on the other side. They stared back. The construct was mesmerizing. Elisha stood relaxed in her tiny yellow bikini, while the trio were in black business suits covering every inch of their skin. It did nothing to hide their pale faces and the dark circles under their eyes. It was nighttime. The group will have passed for hungry vampires. "Good morning, Elisha," said the woman in the group. "Did hell freeze over?" Elisha asked in return, giving up the friendly approach she'd been set on going with. "We have business proposition," the woman answered. Elisha studied the woman before answering. "We have their own house. I don't do business with the council." Only council members were brave enough to still travel around the world during these times. Meow. Elisha said from the side of the house as he marched 3 zombies to the front. What the hell? One man pulled out his gun and aimed. If you pull that trigger, your friends will wear your intestines before that gun drops. Elisha had the machete at the gunman's guts. Sam, lower the gun, the woman ordered. They're coming, mumbled Sam. I will listen to your master, Elisha poured in his ear, then glanced between Elisha and the zombies. With trembling hands, he lowered the gun. Elisha retreated to the door. The second man kept his hand on his holster while Sam faced Elijah and the zombies. How? Asked the woman who was watching the zombies that were mowing the yard. Easy. You push the lever, start the mower, and the grass gets cut. Simple, replied Elijah, and she even batted her eyes. It honestly hasn't been that long since the last time you used a lawnmower. Or has it? The woman rolled her neck, curling her fingers into a fist. Not the mower, the zombies. Oh, that. Elijah shrugged. No idea. You need to ask Elijah. Meow. Elijah replied from the other side of the group, eyes wide, and that innocent look only cat could masters. You got that? Elijah asked the trio, one eyebrow raised. No? Damn. Maybe you should speak cat tongue. Elijah smirked as the humans glare. Listen, witch. We don't have time for your games, the second man told Elijah as he moved closer to her. Considering you are on my property, I will do as I please. Elijah cocked her hip, tapping the machete on her side. Does Texas still have the castle law? Meow, shouted Elijah. That's a yes from Elijah. Elijah translated. What arrogant fool names their cat the same name as theirs? Yes, I needed to take a job at the fact that they have almost the same names. Even I can point that out. So yeah, don't hate. I might as well take a job by myself. I'm perfectly okay with that. In case you are wondering. Listen, mistakes were made. What can I say? It's easier on paper, I swear, than it is saying it aloud. Just in case you're wondering. So here we are. The second man was on a roll with his ongoing commentary. Only a witch. Calm down, Billy, the female told him. Not my idea, Elijah replied. He named himself, and in case nobody ever told you, witch is no longer an insult. I will recommend you to get more creative. Goodbye. Elijah turned on her heels and marched back inside, unconcerned with the group. If they try anything, Elijah will take care of them. Elijah, please, the female begged, stopping her. We need your help. Hell did freeze over, Elijah told him. This can't possibly be good. To have the head of the human council begging this lowly witch for help means the demons have invaded Earth and are eating your children. I'm totally curious now. Come in. The trio entered the house. Sam and Billy stood by the door, guarding their balls. The female examined the room. Not what I was expected. Not what you expected? Elisha asked. It's normal, replied the female. Well, it's only the living room. My human killing tools are in the spare bedroom, right next to my cauldron. Elisha made herself comfortable on the couch and faced the group. No reason to mix work with pleasure. Now, witch, Billy mumbled under his breath. Speak, Elisha ordered. You interrupted my sunbath, and I have plans for the rest of the day. We found a cure, the female told her. For the resting bitch face disease plaguing your subordinates? Good for you, Elisha said, giving the other 2 men an approving nod. For the plague, the female quickly answered, holding her employees back. Really? Elisha covered her mouth with the hands in saturated. Let me guess. You found a colony of elves you're planning to massacre them for their blood. There are no such thing as elves, Billy told her, looking down at her like she was covered in pieces. Of course not, Elisha mimicked his condescending tone, and into 15 years ago, there were no actual witches or magic on Earth. You've killed most of my species, so we might as well be a myth. No elves. The human jumped as her pointers and gestured their horses again. Just a child. And, Elisha asked, we need you to find her for us and bring her back. The woman looked down at the ground when she finished. Do I look like the mailman to you? Elisha asked. Are they old enough to know what are they old enough to know what a mailman is? Billy shot her the middle finger while Sam turned to face the outside world. Manners, Elisha replied with her hand on her chest. Bless your heart. Elisha enjoyed the old-time expression. It was never a compliment, but a type of underhand insult that made those formerly from the north think twice of the meaning. Days like this, she really missed those old-Southern ladies that could insult anyone without losing their smiles. It's been a tense day, the female replied. We're all on edge. This is the first genuine leave we have in years. Are you planning to sacrifice her to your God in an effort to save humanity? Elisha picked her nails with the machete. Or did poor Jesus finally give up on all of you and he figured out what a rotten crop they left him with? Kathy, we're wasting our time, Sam whispered to her boss. Do you know I can hear you? Elisha told him, not bothering to look at him. Whispering is just a waste of time. Don't you want to see this plague end? Sam asked, raising his voice. Which? Elisha pointed at herself. Remember? She paused again for effort. And in case you have forgotten, we're immune to your disease. We made this crap, so why should I care if it kills you all? More pets for Elijah. Humans are dying, Kathy told her. We could use some allies. We tried to help. And when we did, you hunted us down and used us as lab rats. Elisha told her from the couch, the reason I haven't killed you yet is because of that damn treaty. Your time is up. She's being held by demons, Billy added. So? Asked Elisha. Don't you care that an innocent child is being held hostage by monsters? Sam pushed her. Not at all, Elisha answered, shaking her head. What do I get out of this? We can make your life a lot better, Kathy answered, pulling an envelope from her pocket. A large dormitory anywhere in the Americas to start a new life for your kind. Lifetime supply of food, all your essentials, as well as a free pass to all the territories from south to north. Ah, yes, in case I decided to go on vacation to any of the decimated cities on this side of the world. So appealing, Elisha glared at this envelope that Kathy held out. Didn't you fight for your people? Don't you want to see them come back to their full glory? Kathy placed the envelope on the living room table. We're giving you an opportunity to claim a place in this wall again. For them. Besides, you missed the freedom to go as you please and do what you want. I'm offering you that for a small favor. Small favor? Elisha gave a dry chuckle. Break into a demon-infested location, rescue an unknown child, and deliver her to your miserable hands. Which could be just as bad as the demons for that kid. Are you kidding me? The orders are in the envelope as well as a clearance to enter any location bound to the council. Kathy adjusted her suit. We expect delivery in 7 days. And if you succeed, we will fulfill our side of the agreement. What makes you think I'm agreeing to this? Elisha glanced at her envelope before her eyes fell on Kathy. You're bored, Kathy replied. We'll be back in 7 days to collect the child. The trio walked out of the door as Elisha entered. Sam jumped out of the way when Elisha passed him, and it was like an invisible hand helped push him. Using his powers, Elijah slammed the door behind him, not bothering to look back at the group. You told your pets not to eat them? Elisha asked, staring at the closed door. Maybe. Elisha licked his paw. Elijah, we don't need the rest of their buddies crashing through the front door now. Elisha told him, grabbing the envelope. Fine. Elisha closed his eyes as screams and gunshots were heard from outside. Great. Now I need 3 more zombies. The horror! Elisha mocked him. Please tell me you didn't buy the whole land for your people crap. Elijah asked, jumping on the table. Elisha passed him the letter. Of course not. Last time that race gave another group land, they locked them in reservations and treated them like second-class citizens. Then why are you contemplating this madness? Elisha knew that shimmer in Elisha's eyes eyes too well. Aren't you curious why demons are guarding a child? Elijah asked. What did the humans find out about that? And why do they think this is a new answer to their prayers? You do know curiosity killed the cat. Elijah watched her closely. Last time I checked, I'm the cat here, and dying is not part of my plan. For the week. Oh, come on. It'll take more than a demon to kill you. Elijah poked his tummy. Are you seriously that poor? Elijah gave the letter one last look. We are definitely that poor, she conceded. Fine. Elijah rubbed his paws out with his vest. I'm going on the record as saying this is a horrible idea. We should let the humans burn into hell and mind our own business. But since you're bleeding hard for kids, let's do this. You know you're excited. Elijah skipped towards their room. No, I'm not, he replied. What are you doing? Going to get supplies for our trips, Elijah answered from the front door. We have enough supplies and food to last us 2 lifetimes. We don't age, Elijah pointed out. I want some new toys. She grinned like a kid with a cake. You are hopeless. He jumped off the table. I get the house ready for departure. I need more zombies. You planning to give them instructions to recruit when they kill themselves? Elijah asked, peering over her from the room. I hate you, he replied, heading out the back door. Why is my familiar a necromancer? Elijah wanted to know. The worst part was that he cared more for the walking dead than he did the living. At least he had been fond of their neighbors when they were alive. It surprised her he kept their bodies intact as zombies. Letting the thoughts of Elijah and his zombies obsession go, she headed to get change. I mean, Kenny has the advantage around angry humans, but not the most efficient choice for carrying weapons. All right, my friends, that was chapter 1 of Recruited. This is, while Plague Unleashed does have semi-zombies in the book, it is the idea of pestilence and zombies, which seems to be very common in my books. This one is legit, is the end of the apocalypse. You have all the madness taking place. And a very powerful witch where her demented familiar literally have nothing better to do because the war is over. So you get to learn all about that. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if people picked up this novella. It's super fun. Super short. I need to know if I need to write the rest of this series or if we can just let it be. Give me some feedback. Tell me what you guys think. Hopefully you guys are doing amazing. I will see you guys next week. Hopefully from our house. I actually have a really, really good weekend. So love you all. Have an amazing time, guys. And I'll see you next week. Bye.